I love having bees in the garden again. They were so calm.
What people won't know though, the backstory that comes with that nuke, there was this huge cluster, this mass exodus out of the nuke, bump the bees, onto a sheet and package them up and then, send them to you.
Getting back to the nukes arriving at my place, I was trying to stay calm and I saw them and there were loads of bees all at the top, buzzing around. How does someone come and collect them from you guys?
We have quite a regimented regime. We get a dedicated collection from Chester. I feel like I found my home, and I got the forest and you've got like where we live and the bees and the gardening.
For me, there's nothing better than being involved in natural processes. I feel very grateful. I have lovely friends, a balance between family, friends, work.
Right, so there we go. We finally sorted that out. It is hot. That's what we were saying. It is very hot.
It's really hot. I don't know how it is up in Wales, but here in Bristol, it's boiling. It was about 26 yesterday, but felt almost unbearable. And today's even hotter. I haven't been outside yet.
How is the nuke? That's why we're talking, isn't it? I sent you this nuke. Go on.
It's so exciting. I love it. I love having bees in the garden again. It's so wonderful. And it was a dilemma. Should I have bees in my garden or not? And it's a question that I think lots of people ask because of the risk of neighbours being stung, yourself being stung, them being in close proximity to people is kind of a worry. And I was obviously worried about that too. And then I spoke to you about it. And I think it all comes down to having some calm bees. And like, if they're calm, they're not going to cause any problems at all. You sent me the nuke. It arrived. I moved the frames out. I had my little veil on. I did not need a veil. They were so calm. You can like shake your hand above the frame and they just don't fly off. They're so docile. But no, they're getting on great and I'm really happy with them.
I'm glad you're happy with them. They kind of stick to the frame, don't they? What people won't know though, at this point, obviously, we're doing this as live, but you probably don't know the extent of it either. The backstory that comes with that nuke is brilliant. Let me give you the backstory. Let me fill in all the gaps for you because it's quite a hefty one.
I would love to know where this nuke came from, how it was put together, how it was made, all that stuff. Okay. I'm fascinated.
Okay, so let's do that. I'll give you the even more extended one then, which is working with Lutz Eggert. So I bought a number of his queens 2025 and overwintered them. Anyone who buys Lutz's queens knows that they come very late on in the year. So it's not like April or May, you're getting them in August or September or something like that. So very late season splits made up last year, but enough to kind of be able to assess what's going on. So then we go through that assessment. We took 7 of them through and they were in a nice little place within the apiary. And then I'm looking at some of them and thinking, right, we're going to take this one off here, give that one to Richard. I had a few spare. And I was doing some compression in the apiary and moving some things around. So what I had was 7 of these breeder queens, some island mated, some artificially inseminated, but all like dead calm, super calm. Had 7 of them on one of those big Abello stands, pretty much all next to each other, all full of bees. And I knew they were super full. So I thought, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start moving them around the apiary. I'm going to put them over somewhere else and bleed the foragers off, knowing that I'm going to overstock some bees and I'll have to do something with them. I took 4 off and left 3 on the stand. And your nuke, the one that I sent you from the swarm, is the one that's in the middle. Now, I went back there the following day to go and do like just a little bit of manipulations and move stuff around, but to fix these nukes. And on the front of it, there was this huge cluster, like absolutely huge cluster. And I thought I'll do a little channel member video. I'll talk to people and say exactly that, what I've done here. Like I've moved away the other bees and these are all the foragers. And I need to come back here today and do something. But don't worry about this because it's temporary, it's not swarming. Famous last words, obviously. So came back later on that day. So I did that channel member thing at about 6 o'clock in the morning because I was doing some morning stuff. And then came back later on in the day to do stuff with Zane. But we were filming something else and he was off. I think he was off having his lunch. He wasn't there. And I remember looking at this colony and thinking like, I can hear something around it. There's a real deafening buzz going on. So I looked around, I went over to your nuke because I thought, if there's any colony that's going to swarm here today, it's going to be this one. And then before you know it, and you've seen a colony swarm, Alex, this mass exodus out of the nuke. But it was here, like my face was next to it. Zane came over, we caught a lot of it on camera, like completely unplanned. It went and swarmed about 3 or 4 meters up into a tree, so very difficult to retrieve. I had my swarm catcher, my retractable pole.
Yeah.
I thought, this is going to be good, like turning out to be a good video. So got the swarm catcher up there, got the bees down, but I couldn't work out where the queen was. So I thought, we're going to have to bump the bees, onto a sheet so we can see where the queen is. We did that the first time. Zane found the queen. We managed to get them all in and package them up and then, send them to you. And then before I went to bed, having nightmares, thinking, I really hope the bees are okay, because it was quite warm. I gave them a really good soaking, and normally it's the honey coming out in post that is the risk, because I was worried about them. So we had a back and forth, didn't we, about the post and getting them there. And then I'll pass the story over to you, because I don't know the ending yet.
Well, my very kind Royal Mail delivery driver called Nikki delivered them. And she said it was her first time delivering a box of bees. She's delivered queen bees before, like the way you send off queens, but she'd never delivered a box. So she was quite excited, and it was fun to chat with her. But I was just wondering, like, when you sell your nukes and you post them off, how do you make sure that they handled well? Because like bees have to be, that you don't want to throw them around, you don't want to turn them upside down. How do you make sure that in transit they are going to be okay? Because I noticed it's got like special guaranteed delivery, which guarantees it's delivered by 1 p.m. the next day. But how do you make sure that they are actually handled well?
It's a great question. We battled with that for years when it came to sending honey, jars of honey, because if you, no matter what you put on it, sometimes it feels like they get like drop kicked around the depot.
Yeah.
And then someone said to me, they said, one of the best ways of doing it, if you're sending like bulk honey out, and it's relevant to the nukes as well, is they said, show the honey, show the jars. Like if you've got jars that you're sending, just kind of like cellophane them up in some cardboard and send them. And apparently it's a really good success rate, because the postman or postwoman can see that it's glass, so they're much more likely to not lob it around. And it's exactly the same with the nukes. So we put a sign on them saying, look, it's bees, be really, really careful with them, deliver them as soon as possible. If they're delayed, which sometimes they are, keep them in the shade, keep them kind of where it's cool, give them a little spray. But I think the biggest thing that we do is put a big, massive screen on the top of it. So when your post lady's looking into it, she's like, it's bees, it's death. Can you just take this as quick as you possibly can from me? And that seems to do the trick.
Like, do you take them to the post office or the delivery office? Or like, or does someone come and collect them from you guys?
We have quite a regimented regime when it comes to the nukes. So Richard brings them up here very early in the morning, kind of silly o'clock in the morning. And then we check them all, we transfer them over. I've got a garage that's got like a big air conditioning unit in it. So we just close it all down, spray the bees, put them into there. And it's like 14, 15 degrees in there, and the bees just stay there, just really happy all day. And I'll go in 3 or 4 times, give them a little spray, keep them nice temperature. And then for some reason, we just got very lucky when it came to raw mail. So our collection time from raw mail is at about 5:30 at night. So it means instead of having to send the nukes off in the middle of the day or take them to the post office or do anything like that, we get a dedicated collection from Chester, and they come down in like a big lorry or whatever it's called. And we pack all of the nukes on really, really late in the day. So like 5:30, 6 o'clock, give them a good spray of water, and then they go into the depot. But instead of going post office and into the local raw mail depot and into the bigger raw mail depot and then into Chester, they just go straight to Chester, just 20 minutes away. You'll get someone saying something like, oh, is there any chance that I can add an extra nuke on? And they'll message you at 4 o'clock on the day that they're being sent. And you say, well, it's funny you should say that, because there is an extra nuke there, so we can do that. So we put an extra nuke in for them. They WhatsApp the next day at 6:30 in the morning. They say, how have you got the bees here so quick? Like in the northern tip of Scotland, we were talking at 5 o'clock yesterday, but it's very, very good service, and they do take care of them and re-underwrite, obviously, if anything goes wrong. But you've got 2, and they were all right. Yeah?
Oh, wow. I'm so excited. Yeah, so I built, in the days leading up to this, we spoke about a month ago about this, but then a few days before you sent them off, I built a hive stand, basically just some 2x4 timber with some fence posts, painted it a nice dark green colour so it blends in with the garden. Got that set up. The garden now is sort of planted up, so there's like plantings all over the place. It's very immature currently. It's going to be years before the garden is fully grown, but the beehives are going to be nicely settled into the landscape, into the garden. So I got the stands built. And then I remember speaking to you when I was up at HQ, and I asked you about, because you had one of those weighing scale stands.
Well, like the Hive Watch one. Yeah.
The Hive Watch stands. And I found that super interesting. And I love data collecting and seeing like scientific data that you can then make decisions based on. So I been speaking with them, and I bought 2 of the weighing scales. So, because I thought, like, if I just have one, then it could be an anomaly. So I was like, I want to do 2 of them. So then I can compare the two.
I'm so jealous. As an owner of one, I agree with your sentiment there. Two is so much more useful.
The more data, the better. So having 100 would be even better, because then you could compare every single one and you get really nice graphs which show like averages. And the thing that I'm most excited about is being able to see when the nectar flows are, because obviously when I'm checking my bees once a week, I know that at some point in the past week there was like nectar coming in because they've filled up a whole super. I think they must come out about 11 o'clock in the morning. We were obviously worried about it maybe being too warm. I was trying to stay calm, but they arrived. I looked in the back of the Royal Mail car and I saw them, and there were loads of bees all at the top, you know, buzzing around. I was like, well, they look okay. Brought them around, put them on the stands, opened up the entrance straight away, gave them a quick spray as well, just to cool them down if they needed it. And one hive, loads of bees came out the entrance. The other one, not many bees came out the entrance. And I mean, I haven't had many deliveries of bees, so I don't know whether that's normal or not. Anyway, it turns out that it was just one colony just wasn't very active when they arrived. The other one was, because they're.
And was that the swarm one?
Was it the swarm? The swarm one was the one that came out instantly. The other one, which was already on all the comb, that one just didn't really do anything until the evening.
So this is why I kind of woke up in a cold sweat as I was going to bed, because the one that didn't do anything was the right nuke. Like that was the nuke that we planned to send to you, and that was the right amount of bees in it. So them not coming out straight away is right, because they're just going to be like, yeah, we're just a really small kind of chilled out nuke, not causing anyone any trouble. The one that came out straight away had way too many bees in it. I only realised that later on in the day. They're obviously fine. Like the factors of safety were there, but that's the one that I'm most excited about.
So the swarm which I got, which you sent, is that just like half of the bees that were in that original colony? Or was it like...
I should fill the story in really, because although I compressed all of those bees down and triggered that middle nuke to swarm, like that was always going to be your nuke. That was the one that I'd identified. So as soon as we'd found the queen in it, I said, well, that's Alex's queen, and that's Alex's nuke. It's just now in swarm form. So I don't normally catch swarms and send them out to people. It's just, we're going to call it the swarm nuke. It was the queen and all of the bees minus the brood. It's effectively like a package. But yeah, it will grow really, really quick, that one.
There was plenty of comb being drawn out when I received them. So I don't know whether that happened overnight. I don't know what the frames were put in the first place. I don't know how much they had already built out. But I mean, it looked like they were nearly at the stage of having comb ready to lay eggs in.
What, on all of the frames?
Not on all of them. I can't quite remember. But it seemed like very fresh comb that they'd made.
No, well, that's good. And it was nice. There were a couple of frames of drawn comb in there from...
the middle two were like the drawn stuff, yeah.
I put them out to a swarm in there. You can't lure them in with foundation. You have to have a nice bit of comb to get them all in. So I wanted to keep the queen there, but we've sorted it. But what's so funny, Alex, I find, you're talking about it with your flowers and stuff there. Like we're both doing videos on YouTube about bees and gardening and just kind of being outside. And I don't know about you, like I love it. It's my favorite thing. And we're doing tons of gardening up at the forest at the moment. And I have no idea what I'm doing. But like we both kind of ended up doing the same thing, which is just like digging carrots and gardening and doing bees and stuff. If someone would have told you that 15 years ago, young Alex, and said you're going to be doing this, would you have believed them? Because there's no way I would have believed them.
No, well, me 15 years ago had very different sort of aspirations, very different things that I wanted to achieve. Now, yeah, it's so far away from where I thought I would be 15 years ago. For me, everyone's different, but for me, there's nothing better than being surrounded by and being involved in natural processes. Through gardening, through beekeeping, there are ways that we can get involved and be part of this more of a natural process, which I feel like is lost a lot these days. And it's so nice just getting outside, playing around with bees and seeing natural processes happen around us. You get to see that so clearly with gardening, beekeeping, anything like that. There is a lot that goes into it behind the scenes, like you all know. I mean, your videos they take so much time to film, so much time to edit and put together, but I think it's worth it, yeah.
It definitely is. I'll tell everyone a story about Alex. So I'm naturally risk averse when it comes to clicking on anything that people send me, like links or pictures or anything. I got a message from Alex one day on Instagram with just like a grayed out box. And I said, "What, Alex, what is it? I'm not clicking on it. I'm a bit worried." And he said, oh, no, click on it. It's good. So anyway, I clicked on it, and it was a beautiful foxglove he'd sent a picture of. It's like a little piece of the forest.
Absolutely.
It's like a little memory in time, and it's growing well.
I love things which have some kind of backstory, some more of a meaning. Like I've bought loads of plants from the garden centre, but I've forgotten where I got them from, or I've forgotten the whole story, like where I was in my life at that stage. But that foxglove that I took from your forest apiary spot, I will always remember as like, oh, the day that we hung out and we had pizza and we made a fire and we chatted about bees all day. And I have a similar thing with like other plants that I find. Like I might find some seeds when I'm out walking and I might collect them, and I go through the whole process of trying to germinate them, and all that builds to the meaning and the reason you care about it. No, those foxgloves, they beautifully flowered this year. They have just finished. I guess the ones near you, they're just going over.
No, they're still in good nick. Yeah,
okay,
they've
nice.
got a couple of weeks left. It's funny because when you come up to the forest next time, you'll see we've done loads of different little bits, and one of the sections that we're going to create is a foxglove thing. Just going to have a whole little section of foxgloves. And I was thinking of going around and like digging them up and planting them there, and I know they're like really toxic and poisonous, aren't they? So I thought better of it, and then I thought, well, hang on, I'll just wait for them to go to seed and then just prep the area, just chuck the seeds down.
Yeah, there will be so many. And the bumblebees absolutely love them. I love watching the bumblebees go inside and then they come out, and yeah, they're lovely plants. And over time, I want to have them scattered around all my garden, which they will, because I'll get seeds from the ones that I collected from your place, and then I'll have loads, hopefully.
What's your biggest gardening mistake then? Let's go with the gardening thing.
Okay, so I'm very much a amateur gardener. I've been doing it for maybe 5 years now, kind of really interested in it. But gardening is a huge topic. There's so much to it. There's so many different areas you can get into. You know, vegetable gardening, ornamental gardening, you've cut flowers and so on. So, and I love a little bit of all those things. So it's quite hard to manage because I'm like, oh, I've got so many things I want to grow and not enough space to do them all. But I'm very lucky that my dad, he was a landscape garden designer for most of his life. He's trying to become retired now. But he was a gardener, so he's obviously full of knowledge, full of gardening advice and information. And I'm really sort of making the most of it, should I say, bugging him, asking him questions. He's come and he's really helped me do my garden, and I've learned so much from him. One of the things
that he loves it, Alex.
Oh, well, yeah, apart from some of the hard manual labor with the hard landscaping. But yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I learned from him about gardening is spacings. When you're planting up a space, it's very hard to put something in and think that's how it's going to look after 3-4 years. Obviously, if you have a little plant, you're going to be tempted to put them really close together, and very quickly they'll grow and intervene and outcompete each other, and it's just a mess. I do it with my vegetables every single year. I plant a row of carrots, a row of spinach, a row of lettuce, and they're all too close together. So by June time, they're all just like in a big bundle, and it's all a bit of a mess. He continuously says to me, Alex, you've put them two plants too close together. You'll only find that out in a couple of years' time. But my advice is to space them apart. And I did that more so with some of my stuff this year, and I'm already seeing the results, and it's crazy. It's almost like you need a lot of forethought for gardening. You need to know how plants will look 2 months' time, in 4 months' time, in a year, in 5 years. To be able to garden properly, you need to have that long-term sort of knowledge of what's going to happen. But still, I find that very tricky, because I'm like, well, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want 100 different species, and it can end up looking quite messy. But
so I've gone with the messy one, and the idea behind it is that I'm not going to have to weed. So no space means fewer weeds. But also, my logic was B-roll. So when you're filming the B-roll, if you've got like 3 or 4 different plants, you're always going to have similar B-roll if you're getting that like super close-up B shot. But if I've got 100 different herbs and little flowers, I can kind of change it up. So I was thinking more like on the macro level. But
that's a great idea. If your aim is to create almost a studio to film in, then maybe by having just one of everything is a really good idea, because it means that you'll always have something to film, always have something in flower. That is a very good point. I like it.
It's when you look at it from afar, it just looks way too messy, doesn't it? Next question I've got for you, Alex, here. Best value plant. This is quite a cool one. So if I gave you £20, so here's £20 for Alex, and you can buy. We could actually do this, I tell you what, let's do this, Alex, here, because this podcast is not going to go out for ages. I'm going to send you, let's make it £50. I'm going to send you a £50 gardening voucher. And I would like you to buy me some plants and get them delivered. And I'm going to plant them into a special place. We up for it?
Nice. That sounds cool. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'd happily spend someone else's money on plants.
Right, so let's do that. But if we were in a theoretical world, go on, what would you put? What would be missing? Something that needs to go. There could be anything.
Okay.
No cost limit.
It's very tricky because, I mean, there's endless things. Something I saw the other day, you get lots of different varieties of them. You get those giant echiums, which grow like 2-3 meters tall. You get the smaller ones, but more bushy ones. But they, whenever I've seen them, have been absolutely covered in bees.
Echium, is it like a bush?
There are lots of different varieties. So you can get giant tall flower spikes, you can get more bushy ones. But the echium as a genus of plants, from what I've seen, absolutely cracking bee magnet.
Let's raise it to £100. I'm going to do £100 gift voucher. And then like you can buy whatever you want.
That would be great. I mean, it would be such a great test. So do we have any criteria here? Like, are we trying to get the plant which is the most buzzing with bees? Or are we just trying to, like, what, do you have any criteria? Do you want your garden to just look nice? Or what is the thing?
Yeah, it's a good shout. Let me tell you the vibe that I'm going for here. Okay. There's a guy on Facebook called the Phantom Planter.
No, I haven't. I might have seen.
He just goes around like planting huge forests, just like sticking plants in, planting all this stuff. But did you hear the giant oak at Sherwood Forest? I think it's called like Major Oak. Did you hear it died? Like they officially announced that it was dead.
Oh wow, I didn't hear about that.
It was only about a week ago, and then the Phantom Planter had been there, I think last year or the year before, and collected lots of acorns, which I know is a subject close to your heart. And he sprouted them all, and then he started selling them, like auctioning them off for charity yesterday to say, like, this tree is now dead, isn't it? So it's quite a sentimental thing. And I thought, I would love to have like something like that up in the forest. I love the idea of just turning it into a sanctuary for wildlife that can exist for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. So it's not just about, what are the bees going to get out of it? What am I going to get out of it? There's definitely something there, which is, like at the moment, it's a very dark, very dingy coniferous forest. Like you know what it's like. The bit that we're in, that's kind of where we've improved it. You walk off into the forest and it's there's no wildlife, there's no sound, there's no nothing. And I'd love for that forest just to turn into something really, really cool. So I'm not going to give you any criteria.
Okay, well, I'm already thinking maybe you need some big old oak trees growing in there.
I would love that. That would be super cool.
No, well, let's bear that in mind. That sounds like a great idea. I love it.
Excellent. Okay, let's talk about something not gardening related. You're doing other videos as well. I want to chuck a random question in there, which is, like, we're creators and we like it when videos do well, and we understand that sometimes videos don't do well, and sometimes you put loads of effort in, and sometimes you're really proud of a video and it doesn't do very well. So the question is, what's the video that makes you the most proudest? Not the one that's done necessarily the best.
It's very tricky because sometimes I feel like it's the videos which do well in terms of views and the comments from people which make me the most proud. Sometimes I'm like, I'm proud that I made this thing that so many people enjoyed and watched. But other times there are videos which I'm like, that was a personal challenge and I'm proud that I made it because it was challenging for me to make. The past few months, I recently invested in some new lenses, prime lenses. If you are a photographer or filmmaker, you will know the lovely quality of footage you can get from a prime lens. I invested in some of these lenses, they're not cheap. And I wanted to make some beekeeping films which had very little talking and more focused on the actual shots, more focused on telling the story through the lens as opposed to me narrating it, which most of my videos are about. So I made a video which included maybe 3-4 weeks of the beginning of this season, went about my beekeeping business, but I just filmed it and I just really focused in on the beautiful things that I saw whilst on these trips to the apiary, and spent so much time with my lens, like shooting it and getting really excited about the shots. And I managed to make a film which I looked at and I was like, wow, that really captures the feeling which I feel when I go beekeeping and I feel at this time of year. And it was interesting because it was really not a big hit in terms of YouTube views or subscribers or whatever. But it was challenging for me because it was a whole new style of making a beekeeping film that I hadn't tried before. It challenged me. It was really fun to film. It was really fun to make. It didn't bring back the rewards that a million view video would bring, but I can still be very grateful and happy about how it made me feel making it. That's, I'd say, would be the thing I'm most proud of.
It's interesting that, Alex, because it was a very good video. And I watched the video and I thought, whoa, this is like a different style of Alex. I watched it all the way through and thought, that's a great video, love that. And then I read the comments and there were huge amounts of comments, the same thing.
I was hoping you hadn't read all the comments.
I read a lot of them, yeah. What I love in the comments, yeah, it's not people saying, that was rubbish, I didn't like that, do the other thing. They were saying, oh, do you know what, Alex? Like, we like that video, but really, like, we love you talking. Like, you're the thing that we come for. You're really calming, and the way that you explain things, really love it. So it was so nice because it was beautiful feedback, and they spoke to you in such a nice, and always you're going to get a couple that are not like that, but just a really good feedback loop for you. And I can only imagine you reading that, and you get the bit where like a lot of effort in that. I'm gutted that I've not delivered for you. But like your plan of action going forward surely is very clear now, which is you have to narrate them, don't you?
It was very challenging I tend not to take the comments too personally. I respond to hate comments by mostly just ignoring and, not getting caught up in it. I'm not saying any of this was hate comments, but people were definitely, they wanted to see the previous style of video. They obviously like the narrating in the videos, and that's why they like to watch. And people were very kind about that as well, which I'm so grateful for. Yeah, motivations for making videos come in many forms. One might be just pure creative freedom, and I want to just make what I feel and put that out there, which very much was what this silent beekeeping film was all about. But another big motivation is making stuff which my subscribers want to see. I want to make what they're all asking for, and so I can't ignore that. And I think I should challenge myself with new things every now and then, which maybe not going to perform well, but also bear in mind what people like and try and find a middle ground where I'm satisfying my needs and I'm also making stuff which other people like to watch. It's a bit of a balancing act, but yeah, overall it was a very good learning experience. I really challenged myself making this film, but also I learned stuff along the way as well.
When I was watching it, the thing that stood out for me, and maybe it's just the way that my mind works, but I thought if I was Alex, I could do a video anywhere. I could film a video anywhere in the world. Like, it could literally be anywhere. We could get the video out without ever leaving my room. You could just film talking heads narrating and go and get some world-class videographer to go and film it to your kind of design, and then just like the videos are done, aren't they? That would be really, really cool. I'm going to finish it with one question, Alex. It's been a really nice podcast, and thank you so much for giving us the time to chat. Like, it's very, very nice. But it's a quite philosophical one. What are we searching for? Because come back to the beginning. The beginning was like I had a corporate job. You were kind of doing what you did. Gorgon, what were you doing before you were creating videos with Carl? What was it?
I was working. Well, I mean, that goes back to when I was basically just out of school, just out of college, working for a company making some product videos about fishing rods and fishing equipment. So all I've ever really known is filmmaking. That's the only profession which I guess I've known.
But you've moved through all of these different things. It's quite fast and you adapt to them. And it's the same with me, where you're just not really sure where you're going to end up next. But I feel like I've found my home. Like, I feel like I don't need to go out and chase kind of anything new. And I've got the forest, and you've got like where we live and the bees and the gardening. Like, I'm happy where I am. I don't feel the need to search any. Like, what's next for you?
Yeah, well, firstly, it's so lovely to hear that you've found a lifestyle which is sustainable and nice for you. For me, I guess going through your 20s, it's a very transitional period of your life. And so from when I was 18 to about 25, I was very much lost. I didn't really know like what I was doing. I didn't know where I was going next. And I think the truth of it is that like I still don't know really what's next, but I've definitely found, maybe similar to you, a lifestyle which I'm very content with. Certainly it's challenging at times, but it feels sustainable, and I feel relatively level with my moods these days. Yeah, I'm not so up and down all over the place, having crazy ideas, doing or whatever. I feel very grateful that I can make films, keep bees, spend plenty of time outdoors. I have lovely friends. I think it's maybe boring, but it's the nice balance that I have found with all lots of different things. A balance between family, friends, work, all the things which are important, a nice amount. Yeah, I'm very content currently. And that's really nice. But I also realized that one of the things that adds a nice balance is an element of challengingness and pushing. And I'm always trying to learn new skills and trying to start new projects. Currently, I'm getting into hydroponics. I'm going more and more in depth with the beekeeping side of things because I find that even more interesting than I have in previous years. I'm always trying to challenge myself, and I feel quite good when I'm sort of on the edge of my comfort zone.
We need to be in that place because it gets the best out of us. Like, you know me, I know you. We're not ones for kind of like sitting around and not doing that much. We like to fill our time with stuff. But I would say one of the things that really connects us, and it's something that we're not willing, it's one of our red lines, is we're very trying to get the words right. We're very focused on giving back to the community. Yeah, like I see it as such an important thing, which is if I can do a video to help someone with their bees, like I'm going to do that video. I'm going to do a live stream to help someone with their bees. I'm going to do that video. I'm going to do all of these things to help people get the best out of their bees because they're the ones who have facilitated this lifestyle. They're the ones that have given me the chance. And I know you do the same, like you release advert-free videos because people support you in another way. And it's all about like giving something back to those people. And then when I see the wonderful comments that people give to you in all of the videos, like it must make you feel nice. And it's just nice for me and refreshing for others to see that it's not a case of like take. It's very much, well, we're the creators and we're going to give something back to you, and just long may it continue.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel very grateful for the like you say, the people who support the lifestyle that I live. And like I have to listen to the comments when people want to see a certain type of film. I can't not. You give and you take. And a good example of this was yesterday when I baked some cake. I was like, I saw the neighbor outside. I was like, oh, I should probably offer her some cake. I gave her some cake. And then she comes round a bit later with some of her eggs from her chickens. And it's just a lovely constant. I give you something, you give me something. And everyone seems to be very happy with that. And yeah, sharing is nice. And getting things from people is also nice.
Alex, you did some 14-day beekeeper stuff, didn't you?
I did. I've done, I haven't completed it. It's taken me far longer than 14 days, but I learned plenty of stuff. It was so good to see the basics again. Like after a few years of beekeeping, I was like, I don't need the basics. And I was like, oh no, bee space. Yeah, that's why I'm getting loads of comb built in my...
Basics are helpful. And it is a useful point talking about 14-day beekeeper because we launch the new 14-day beekeeper today. That is just random. And it comes with few added extras. So 14-day beekeeper basics, its own package. So instead of 149 for the full 300 videos, there's like a trimmed down version that you can get, and you can buy all of the modules separately as well. So I'll do the advert. If you want to become an expert beekeeper in just 2 weeks, check it out at 14daybeekeeper.com. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I wish you the very, very best with the nuke. Keep us updated on it. And yeah, we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, absolutely.